going on, you Brabaholics? Welcome back to the channel. I know what you're thinking. It's a nice day out. But in all seriousness, we have another project to work on. Also have two John Deere lawnmowers here. Those are going to be worked on too, but we're going to start with this quad first. So we're not really sure what's wrong with it yet. All I know is that it's not running right. Basically, what it sounds like is that the owner did a wheelie on it, came down pretty hard, and after that it started running funny. My first guess is that the timing chain jumped, because it is kind of a known, I don't know if it's a known problem. We've had an issue with a 660 jumping time before. I don't know anything about the history on this quad, so I can't tell you what kind of abuse it's been through or how much it was babied. I don't know, but all I know is that it ain't running good, so we gotta figure that out. These 660s weren't the greatest engines. I know I'm getting a lot of flack for that, and I'm sorry that I'm not trying to. If you like these engines, that's okay. That's your opinion. My opinion is these things suck. So they're not reliable engines. That's why they're 700 Raptors now. They're not 660s anymore. They're 700s. So we're gonna get this thing in the garage. We're gonna start tearing it down. We'll see if I can get it to start to see how it runs first, though. Too. We have another quad coming in. You're gonna see that here shortly. It's gonna be I don't know what it is yet, other than it's a 99 Arctic Cat quad. Don't know what size it is or anything, but still waiting on parts for the Ghost. It's still in there. Hot tamale is done. Hot tamale is rideable. We are finally golden. The way this sounds, it sounds like a timing issue to me. It's slightly smoky as well, so I need to tear it apart. I'm gonna check the time. That's the first thing, that's the easiest thing to do. If it's not, then I gotta split it, retime it. We'll get to that. I gotta put a battery in the Arctic Cat. I apologize about the lighting. We actually, back in the day, when we were kids, like, I would have been like 8 years old, so like 18 years ago or so, we had this same exact quad. It was 99 Arctic Cat 300. We rode the thing. If only we had GoPros back in the day. I remember we took this to the gravel pit. We figured out that four-wheel drive on this was way better in the mud. We took it into a mud hole. Well, little did we know that they dug out this hole a little deeper than normal, and it filled up with water, so we didn't realize it. Brock was driving it, and he went into this hole that we didn't know that was that deep. Anyways, let's just say that it was in the water this deep. It took in some water. We didn't have phones back then. We had to make the drive back a shame, minus one quad, and we had to get it towed back because we only had little. I think we had like little 110s or something, Chinese pieces of crap. Anyways. Long story short, it got rebuilt, and we sold it. But yes, a lot of stories on this type of quad. Sure is bringing back some memories. These Arctic Cats have Suzuki engines in them, so it's some sort of Suzuki engine. I have to do some research. I'm honestly not sure. So that's what's going on with that. I need to put a battery in it so I can at least try to start it. I got some spare batteries just to start it. I'm not gonna put it in, and the clients have a battery they're gonna give me once they get it. I'll put one of my batteries in it and try to fire it up. I just took the rocker cover off on this. I do think it is off time by 1 tooth, and the chain, in my opinion, feels very loose. So I think the chain's stretched and wore out. I'm gonna take the tensioner out and give that a look. Make sure that it's actually all the way tight. Sometimes that they can get screwed up like that. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, it just feels very loose. It should be way tighter. Finally got this thing split apart. The next step is I gotta take the cover off to the crank. Should not be that big of a deal, but that's the only way I can take the timing chain off from the bottom there. So what I want to do is try to get this to start and see what it sounds like. That's absolutely out of gas. If I remember right, that's choke. Oh, died for some reason. I think this needs a rebuild. So it's blowing oil out of the exhaust. How the heck is this thing starting? Huh. Huh. I've never had oil come out of the exhaust like this before. It is blowing it out. So this is where the smoke is coming from. It's just burning it up. If you can see, and it's really hard to tell on camera, but that is wet. It is literally blowing oil out through the exhaust. There's probably an exhaust leak right there where the muffler connects to the exhaust pipe. It's blowing oil out of there on the ground here. And if you look on the engine, it is covered in oil, and the camera ain't gonna show it. But so all I know is it got tipped upside down on itself, and it never ran right after that. So I don't know what happened. I'm currently waiting on parts for the Raptor, waiting on parts for the truck, waiting on parts for the Ghost. Now it's time to actually tear apart the Arctic Cat and get that going, so I can wait for parts on that, because shipping takes forever nowadays. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be an engine rebuild. It is blowing oil out of the exhaust, which is kind of abnormal. Even for a quad that needs new rings and piston, must have an insane amount of blow by, and it's shooting out exhaust. Okay, so I have a little theory on what's going wrong with the Arctic Cat. I'm gonna drain the oil, but just looking at the oil coming up while I'm cranking the engine over, I'm pulling the pull starter. I'm trying to just get a feel for it. Anyway, some oil's coming out, and when I took the carburetor off, there was oil in the carburetor. Just to back up a little bit, the owners think that the carburetor was dirty, which is probably the case. If the float is stuck and the drain hole in the bowl of the carburetor is stuck, because when I got this, the gas tank was completely empty. If there's nowhere for the gas to exit the carburetor, then the gas runs into the engine or the air box, but most of the time it's the engine, just the way it's tipped. I think what happened over time is all the gas that was in the gas tank leaked down into the piston and drained around the rings into the crank. So I got gasoline in the oil, and now there's so much oil since now that the crank is so full of oil and gas. When I crank the engine over, the only place for the oil to go is through the breather line, is through the crank breather line, or out of the exhaust. I think there's just so much. It's just trying to exit places it can exit. That's just a theory. Normally when the crank is full, it gets dumped into the air box. What I'm actually gonna do is drain all the oil out, because I need to get it out of there to begin with. And what I might do, so we're gonna drain the oil, clean the carburetor, and then I'll put fresh oil in it to the correct level. We'll probably try to run it and see what happens. I also want to check the valve clearance because I have them open anyways. So I think my theory is right. This little oil pan that we made basically can hold 1.5 gallons of oil, and it overflowed, and as you can see, it's hitting the drain now. That is, I would say there's probably a 9-to-1 ratio of gas to oil. It's definitely a carburetor issue. I just cleaned the carburetor, put it back in. It was pretty oily from just all the oil that was in it. What I think the problem was with the carburetor, I don't know if the float was sticky, but the spring for the needle here and the carb, it was twisted. It wasn't springing right, so it was stuck in one spot. So that could allow way too much fuel to dump into it. So that might have been the issue. So what I need to do now, I also checked the valve clearance. The valve clearance is in spec. It's really good. So I gotta put some oil in it. Then we can start it. I gotta go to the store and get some oil because I need a lot. I need some for the Raptor too. So all right, guys. So I got it. I got the oil back in. It's running good. I've been running it for a good half an hour now. I had to let all the oil and the exhaust burn off. And it's still gonna be doing it for a bit, but it's running way better. The oil level is good right there. So that was the issue. The spring, the needle for this was twisted and allowing fuel to come up. So she's ready to go. We're gonna button it up, and I got to put new headlight bulbs in. I'm waiting on parts for that yet, but it's done, and we'll have it out here. We'll have it out of here pretty darn soon. Alright guys, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, all that fun stuff. I'm getting pretty mad at Facebook right now. For whatever reason, they have banned me off of Marketplace, so that's fun. I've been recently starting to post some short videos on YouTube. As you can see, I have a lot of videos that are just very short, and so this is going to be perfect opportunity to post them. I mean, I did post them on Instagram here and there, but my following on Instagram is not that good. So please follow me on Instagram if you want to see more behind the scenes stuff. So I'll post some of that stuff on there for you guys. Some of it's pretty funny, and try to make it entertaining for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.